everyone. I hope you had a great week last week and enjoyed the snow. Well, now we are ready to actually get started. So hopefully everyone's had a chance to kind of get into the course and get oriented with how the course is laid out. I know that even though we were out last week and we didn't actually officially start, this week we are going to be starting our first course content work in the first actual content module, module 2. But I kind of wanted to take a step back and go over some important things that I wanted to show you as far as making it a little bit more accessible and useful for you when you're navigating the course in eLearn. So obviously when you get into the course, you're going to see our course homepage with our title of our course. The welcome message, hopefully you have read already. This course homepage for our course is going to be very important because this is where I'm going to be giving you weekly videos, weekly updates. I will be sending an email out every week saying that I have uploaded a weekly video. These weekly videos are going to help you. They're not necessarily going to be recorded lectures, because I have Nearpod and presentations in there for you for our content. This is mostly going to just keep you up to date with what we're working on for the week, assignments, clarification, things that you to look out for, something that you would need to know that was important or relevant to what we are learning about. I will post those videos here on this page where you see my cursor at, which is called the course homepage. So just make sure that every week you are getting in here and that you are looking at the course homepage. Another important feature on the course homepage obviously is going to be our calendar. You will find our calendar there with dates coming up, things that you need to do. You will also have a course calendar, which is inside of our course content in the Getting Started module, which you will also find very useful. Please download that, save it, print it off. That way you can keep up with our assignments and you don't become behind, or you don't get behind. So for this week, one of the things that I wanted you to do was read the syllabus. Hopefully you've had a chance to do that. I also needed you to complete the introduce yourself on the discussion board as well as take the pre-test. These were important because this was considered your first week attendance activities. Your attendance is connected to your financial aid, so it's important that you complete these attendance activities. I will be reporting attendance to the college throughout the semester. So it's important for you to be able to be counted as attending by completing these activities. I did include links here. I have several students who have already completed these activities. For those of us that haven't, I have reached out to you directly through your student eLearn email, so please read that. The pre-test, as you have read, it does count as part of your points for this course, but this pre-test is going to just allow me to see where you're at, and then at the end of the semester you will take the same test, and it just lets me see your growth. So even though that you can get points for taking it, it does not count against you if you are to maybe score not as well as you would like. It's not something that is going to be detrimental to your grade. So please make sure that you complete the pre-test as well. So as you have noticed, there is a welcome message here for you. It also has a picture of our textbook that you will need for this course, so please make sure that you look at that. Inside the course syllabus, which I will go over in just a second, you're going to see that it actually has the ISBN number for you to be able to purchase your text. If you haven't already done that or started looking, please go ahead and look into that because you will need your textbook for this course. So, jumping on into the course information content section is really where we are going to get into what we are going to be doing. This is going to house all of our content and course material for the entire semester. As you will see, when you click on course information and you, from the drop-down menu, you select content, you're going to see a table of contents on the left side. The table of contents is really going to help you navigate through each section of the course. So the course is broken up into modules. The first module, Module 1, is just our getting started. This houses important information such as your course timeline, your syllabus, your assessment information, grading procedures, information on your service learning, and important resources that you're going to need, as well as important major assignments in this course. Our content is going to be found under modules 2, 3, and 4. So this week and last week, one of the things that I wanted you to do was to go through the module 1, getting started. This is very important because this is, like I said, houses very important information. So some of the things that I wanted to kind of point out to you would be, of course, the syllabus, which is something that you need to read. Okay, so the syllabus is important because, as I mentioned, it not only gives you information like for your textbook, ISBN, it also houses like our student learning outcomes, how are you going to be graded and assessed, your point scale, major assignments, how do you participate, how is your attendance calculated in an online class, what are our class procedures. It also tells you the expectations if this is an online course. One of the things I did want to note too is it really goes deep into information of the requirements itself, like how the course is broken down, very in specific course details, such as what we're going to be learning in each module, as well as talking about what I expect of you and what you can expect from me. We also have our in-task core teaching standards here, which is important. I have listed them for you, as well as the program learning outcomes for the AST program. I also included our academic integrity artificial intelligence statement for AI, so please be sure to read that as well. So make sure you look at that. I'm not going to go through all of these because this is part of your assignment, but just orient yourself, go through all this information is very important. As I mentioned, we also have a schedule, a curriculum timeline that we're going to be following. This will match up with the calendar on the course homepage. However, to get more specific detail and to look ahead, it would be wise for you to download this and save it to your device. So as you can see, normally our content will start on Monday, so each Monday of the week, the content will open and it will close on Sunday. Now, some due dates will not be due on Sunday, such as if you were turning in anything that has to do with service learning. A lot of those have different due dates that are not going to be due on Sunday. Mainly, the items that are going to be due on Sunday are going to be those that are having to do like your weekly assignments or your module assignments. So please go ahead and look at this, download it, save it, so you can keep up with where we are at and what's expected and the due dates. If something happens to change or I change a date or extend a date, I will communicate that with you. Not only through email, but through the weekly video. As you'll see, the first week here that we're in now, we are supposed to be starting our first actual content module, Module 2, and we are going to be in the first week. So we are going to continue with the schedule so we don't get behind. So for those few that are still working through the Module 1 getting started and those attendance activities, please get those completed as soon as possible, say today or tomorrow. That way I can report that you are attending. You are responsible this week to be doing our assignment for our very first week, which is called People First Language. So you'll see here, the way that I broke down the timeline is, in this table you have the week we're in, what you're going to be doing as far as what we're learning about, and then the last column, of course, is going to be all your assignments and your assessments. So please make sure that you look at those as well. So this week we are working in People First Language. You'll see here I note about your service learning applications. I'm going to be doing a separate video on that, so there is an overview video already, but this is just letting you know and put on your radar that there is a service learning application that will have to be completed as well as some other assignments that we will be going over. The other things I wanted to note here, aside from that, is again to tell you that you have that introduction discussion board to introduce yourself, so please do that. Also, you have your pre-test, and then it breaks down the major assignments that we also have for this course. So in this course, the major assignments you have, aside from your weekly assignments and your field experience, or your service learning as I call it, is going to be two major things. You're going to have to do either an interview or a journal peer-reviewed article report, or, so you get to choose between those two. And you also be doing what we call co-teaching lesson plan and presentation. So these are very big assignments. They are major assignments in addition to your service learning and your weekly assignments and quizzes. So please make sure that you read through that as well. Obviously, we will be going over this in more depth, but this is just to get us started so you get an idea of the assignments and what's expected of you. I have listed the assignment instructions for the interview, the journal article report, the co-teaching lesson plan, and all the things that go along with the co-teaching lesson plan. Service learning is another big thing that's required of you. You are required to complete 12 hours of service learning in an approved school system or location. I have included all the information here for you. These are all the places that we currently have MOUs or agreements where students are able to complete service learning hours. Please keep in mind that we do have a service learning coordinator that helps with our placement. She works with us directly to get students placed. One thing I did want to note is that if you currently work in a school system, please contact me. That way we can discuss some things as far as your service learning hours, because I get a lot of questions. Well, I work at so-and-so school, can I just do my hours there? Unfortunately, students are not allowed to complete service learning hours where they're employed. So we would need to discuss that a little bit further. So please make sure that you contact me. So there are a lot of parts in this service learning. I do have sort of an overview video, but I said I will be doing another one that answers some more questions that come up quite often. So please make sure that you look at that, as well as the description of what service learning is, and then the manual, which really breaks down what students are supposed to do. There are a lot of documents in here that you're going to have to complete before we can even get you placed. So this really goes over a lot of things that you have to do. We won't get into a lot of this just because I'm doing a separate video, but you will see there is a code that you will have to join the teams to be able to submit your pre-service documents. So please make sure you look over that. There are also some documents that help you navigate a little bit easier, such as like a timetable and checklist. And then also it lets you know the due dates of when things are due. Okay, aside from just doing, or in addition to just doing the service learning hours, you do have to complete what we call a service learning journal and a closing written analysis, which is really going to just reflect on what you've learned. There are prompts that I give you to kind of help you. These are things that I will go over in the video as well, but just keep an eye out for the video. But in the meantime, I still want you to read through so you can kind of get an idea of what you will be looking at as far as how you're going to be reflecting on this experience. One thing I do want to note is students are required to do these 12 hours. If you do not complete these 12 hours, you will not be able to pass this course. So this is a requirement for this education department, and is part of the course requirement. So please keep that in mind, that this is something that you will have to do in order to pass this course, in addition to all the other activities that are assigned to you. If you have concerns about service learning, please reach out to me. Maybe we can schedule a phone meeting or an in-person meeting or a Teams meeting, because this is something that we would need to know right away, especially if there's something that I need to know about or be aware of. So just please keep that in mind. With all that being said, I wanted to talk a little bit about what we're going to be doing this week. As I mentioned, I will be doing an updated weekly video I will be posted on the course homepage. For this first module you were in was called Getting Started. That's just housing important information on the course and how it works and things that you can always go back to, so it will always be open. We are actually starting Module 2, which is where our content is, our course content. So we are actually going to start in week 1. Okay, so you'll see here in Module 1, it's really going to be laying the foundation of special education. So this is where we are looking at what special education is, such as looking at the history of special education, how it's impacted over the years, what kind of positive impacts do we have. We're looking at legislation, litigation. We're going to be looking at things that affect special education as a teacher in the classroom. We're going to be looking at family engagement and also be looking at some of the disability categories, not only federally, but under the state Tennessee Department of Education. So there's a lot of stuff packed in this first module. The first week, we're really going to just be looking at what I call people first. Okay, so once you click on the module, you will see each module is broken into 5 weeks. We are going to be starting on week 1 this week. Each week is laid out to give you kind of the overview of what you will be learning. We have overview, outcomes, keywords, definitions, things you need to know. I also lay it out by presentations, learning activity resources that will help you. And then when you scroll down, you're going to see something called questions about this course. This is very important because this allows you to ask me questions related to each specific module and week. So each week you will see that discussion topic. I do check it. Most students, however, just like to email me when they have questions. I say do whatever is most comfortable for you. I will check these. I'm checking them probably a couple times a week. I check my email as often as I do this. So if you have questions, please feel free to post a question here, or you can email it to me. Also, underneath each module and week, you will see what we call the assignment section. These are all the things that you will have to do for me. Okay, so this will be something either you have to submit, it could be a discussion board or a quiz or an assignment. So make sure that you always scroll down to look under the assignments. So looking at the first section in week 1, we're going to be looking at, as I said, people first. So what that's talking about, it's really looking at the person and not the disability. So in each section that says overview, outcomes, and keywords, you will find this in each week. This just lets you know and breaks down what are our course outcomes, right? So we always have course outcomes, which is demonstrated in our syllabus and written there. So it lets you know which course outcomes are connected with this module and also with the week content. We also have an overview, again, of what you will be looking at. And then we have an actual learning objective for this week. So what are we looking at? This week we're looking at identifying examples of people first language and what that means. I also break down the learning task for you, things that you're going to complete that's going to help you make connections with the content. So a lot of times these are videos you might watch, articles, resources for you to read, things in your textbook, participating in a discussion, and then underneath that are going to be your assignments. These assignments really are going to be how you're assessed for the content we're learning. And then underneath that, you're going to see that I put the keywords and concepts, things that are important and relevant to what we're learning about for the week or for this content module. So please make sure that you look at that. So going back up, you're going to see this week, you're going to read an article called How Are Your People First Skills? This article is really going to give you more insight into what that means when we're saying people first or people's first language. How does that pertain when we're talking about classroom educators? After you read the article, you are going to be completing a reading assignment discussion practice. This practice for this reading assignment discussion, I will note these and call these RADs. They are going to allow us to be involved in a discussion about what we're reading about. This first one is going to be a practice. If you look down in how we're breaking our assignments up, you're going to see that you will have RADs that you complete for this semester. This one is practice. So after you read the article, you're going to complete the practice discussion. I have a video here for you to watch, as well as a self-assessment. You're going to assess how well you are at first-person language or person-first language. And then I also have a module here. This module is going to be an additional resource for you. This is really going to help you learn all about first person and what this looks like inside of a classroom. Now remember, when I give you IRIS modules, I have always connected the module to what our content is. So even though you may see the IRIS module as not relevant, or you decide I'm not going to do it, I do take test questions from the IRIS module. So you may see things from the IRIS module on our quizzes in this course. So that's just something to think about and note. I have put due dates here. I will also say that I would keep up with your course calendar, because that is where I have most dates listed in our course schedule as well. So that will allow you to not have to go back and click in the module. It will let you just have it all in one place. So if you look here, if we go back to week 1, after you go through all your learning resource activities and you scroll down, you're going to see assignments. The assignments here are obviously the things I mentioned. You will not be turning this IRIS module in, but you will be completing it. So I put a link here for you. Inside of our Module 1 Getting Started, there is a section called Resources, and in that Resources, you're going to see IRIS modules. Those IRIS modules really help you, and it talks about how they help you as an educator, part of like professional development and continuing education. Of course, we're using in this course to help us relate to the content a little bit better. They're very engaging. They offer videos, PDFs, there's audio guides, there is challenges and initial thoughts and critical thinking. There's lots of ways to engage. So just keep in mind that this is a very active way for you to participate and engage in the content a little bit more than just reading something on a screen. So you have your IRIS module as part of your assignment, even though you're not physically going to turn that in. The next thing is, of course, that practice reading discussion I told you about. This is a chance for you to get feedback. I'm not grading this one. This just allows you to get practice on how to actually do a RAD. Now, I will show you in just a minute those resource guides I was telling you about in Module 1 Getting Started, where it discusses RADs. So you have the article here, and then the discussion is with it as well. Okay, so there's a link to the article, and in the RADs, it discusses the prompts I give you, and then those are the ones that you will write and post. Now remember, when you are doing RADs, you still have to reply to 2 classmates, so please keep that in mind. Okay, the next thing you will be doing is, again, that self-assessment using person-first assignment. This is actually worth points, okay? So this is going to be your assessment for the week. So please make sure that you look at that. Obviously, you have to read that article that we talked about in order to do this. Inside the article, you will find that self-assessment. Once you complete that, you will be able to do the discussion board. And when you click on these links, it's really going to tell you exactly how to do the assignment, what I'm looking for, and what prompts you have to answer. Always remember, when you do a discussion board, you have to reply to at least 2 other classmates' discussion posts to get full credit. The other thing to note this week, and I will talk a little bit about this in the service learning video, is going to be completing your service learning application. This is something important. There is a due date there. We try to stick to the due dates as much as possible. I understand that since we've had snow, we may be a little flexible with this date. But I do want you to get in there and really go through Module 1 and look at the service learning, because if you are not looking at all of the service learning material and reading through it, it's not really going to make sense about what I'm expecting you to do. Earlier I mentioned that there are some resources that's going to help you in this class. So some of the things that we are going to find here, besides what's listed, is going to be the IRIS module section I talked about, which says what they are and how you use them. Another thing that's important is this Tennessee Special Education Framework. This is something that we're going to be using a lot in this course and I'm referring to. So please make sure that you are able to click in that, and I want you to be looking at that, because this is something important that we will reference a lot. Okay, so this is the most revised version. So when you click on it, it should open up, and then you should be able to download it and save it as it is a PDF. So you will be reading things out of this for our content this semester, so please make sure that you download and save this to your device. Another thing that I wanted to point out that also was important underneath our Module 1 getting started under resources was going to be the training IEPs. We will talk about that when we get into Module 3, which is going to be talking about IEPs, what they are, and we're going to be using these during that time. So please look over that we can kind of get an idea. Really, all of Module 1 you should be reading. That was part of our first week orientation. As we stated, with the weather and school closing, I'm still giving you a chance to go in and look at that. So that's all that I have for you for now. I will alert you when I'm posting that service learning video. And like I said, if you have any questions or you're currently working in a school system or a school right now, please make sure that you email me any questions or concerns. That way we can go ahead and get started really looking at where we're going to be placing students, where students want to be placed. Like I mentioned, we do have that service learning coordinator that we work with that really places students and get them in the best possible placement for them. So reach out. Like I said, even though this is an online course, I'm available to talk on the phone. We can schedule an in-person meeting or even a Teams meeting. So please don't think because this is an online class, I'm not available. Alright guys, I hope that you have a great week, and until the next video, take care.